All right, guys, let's talk everyday carry. Back with another Real Talk. Thank you so much for joining me today, and hopefully we can just have a fun conversation about what I'm carrying every single day. If you guys are interested whatsoever, and first things first, it's going to be this guy right here. We all are attached to these, so I guess this is my public service announcement to everyone out there. Stop scrolling, stop doom scrolling if you can. I know you're watching my video right now, but hopefully you're watching people that have a positive message, who are better than me, that are making your life better, educating you, enlightening you. And these can be used for good, but mostly they're used for evil because they trick our brains into sticking on to them. And I mean, it's an attention economy right now. The most valuable thing you have is your attention and your time. So don't waste it listening to people who are trying to degrade you or make you feel shitty or make you hate other people. That is not where we need to be going in 2024. So I love you guys. There's a bunch of people who love you out there. Just spread love. That's all we need to do. So I keep a phone on me. I've been recently using this little wallet thing because my actual wallet has just grown to a massive size. I have a little cowboy wallet. I don't know what you really call these things. The billfold. It's huge and it does hurt my back when I sit on it for a long drive or something. So I took out all my important stuff, my ID and two of my cards that I use the most, and kind of put them in here on the back of my phone. And it's an off-brand. It's not a real Apple one, but it works. And so yeah, there's that. I carry that every single day, and you kind of need that to survive. I also typically carry my wallet everywhere I go. If I'm not just running out to the gym, and even when I go to the gym, I keep my wallet with me. You never know when you're going to need other things in your wallet. I got my LTC in here, but even though we have constitutional carry now in Texas, so I don't really even need that, but I keep it anyways because why not? And yeah, all my other cards, gift cards, shit like that. So there's that. Another thing I carry every single day that I typically wear every day is my Apple Watch. It's not the best watch in the world, but it is good for working out. I've started a new resolution 2024. I'm not drinking alcohol for the whole year. I'm not smoking for the whole year. I'm not doing anything for the whole year that's going to pollute or bring toxins into my body. I'm eating as clean as possible. So eating mostly meat, eating mostly meat or non-processed fruits and vegetables, meaning raw fruits and grilled or sauteed vegetables with butter or olive oil, not using any of those seed oils. And so yeah, Apple Watch is great for helping me kind of track my fitness, and maybe I could bring you guys along on that journey with me. Last time I weighed myself, I was 245, so I'm already down 10 pounds from after the New Year's spike back up, because I was down to 239, and then I gained a few more pounds back. So come with me on this journey, this fitness journey, and let's get back in shape together. With that being said, I know all the white chicks who watch my channel are going to go nuts. I carry a Stanley with me because my wife had one of these for 6 months before I really gave in. I was carrying a gallon Yeti everywhere, which is a workout in itself. When that gallon Yeti's full, it's heavy as hell. And so that was just so hard to drink when I was driving because it's just so big, and there's no straw in it. So I finally, one day I was with my wife and she had hers with her, and I just took a sip out of it and I was like, man, this is nice. It's just so convenient. And since I bought one of these, my water intake has gone through the roof, guys. You need to drink water. If you don't drink enough water, once you start drinking enough water, it's like an energy pill you take. It's insane when you're hydrated. I try to drink 4 of these a day. Usually I end about 3.5, which is still about a gallon of water, because these are, 40 ounces. So a gallon's 129 ounces if I'm not mistaken. So 3 of these is about a gallon, and then if you drink 4, you're over a gallon. So I'm 6'1", 245 pounds, or 45 pounds. So I need to be drinking at least over a gallon of water a day. So carry a water container with you every single day. That's just my 2 cents. And then I know the part you guys are all waiting for, so I'll just skip ahead to the gun stuff because that's what you all are here for. So my main squeeze right now is the Glock 19X MOS. Just kidding, there's no MS, but this one is milled by Maple Leaf Firearms to give it that RMR cut and the rear sight forward, and it's sitting in a Tier 1 concealed MSP, which is the Modern Samurai Project holster. And the coolest thing about this holster is that it actually indexes on my Surefire, or my Streamlight rather, TLR1 HL. So any gun that I have that can fit this light, which is all of them have a rail, can fit into this holster, which is really freaking awesome. I've done a video on this in the past where I think I showed taking it, every gun I owned in and out of it, all the way up to the FNX 45 Tactical, which is pretty incredible because that gun is an absolute chonker. It was super thick, and it fits in here. Now you can adjust the tension to kind of like, make your retention tougher or stronger or weaker rather. So when you're running a really big gun like that, when it's set up for the Glock 19X, it was a little tight on the draw, but I have my 19X in here set up pretty darn good. I don't know, I haven't shook it in a while, but there you go. It's got good retention. You can see it's not falling out. Maybe slowly there, but ever so slightly. Have the retention exactly where I want it. And a good holster is it's like a superpower. If you don't have a good holster, you're gonna be miserable the whole time. Now, I have guys ask me, especially like novice guys who don't carry every day or aren't used to carrying every day, isn't that incredibly uncomfortable when you carry that appendix every single day? And the short answer is yes, but the long answer is it more uncomfortable than being Swiss cheese by a criminal, or being in a mall when it's getting shot up and not having quick and reliable, consistent access to my firearm? No, but also that's being a little dramatic, right? But also, like, you just get used to it. Like, you literally forget it's there when you're standing. When you're sitting, it is definitely more of a, hey, I'm right here. Especially when you're a guy like me and you have a little bit of a bell, right? So, there's my baby talk coming out. You could tell him a new dad saying bell. So, I'll throw this in the waistband and I'll step back so you guys can see. Hopefully you guys can hear still, okay? But you can see right here, and we'll talk about my belt setup and all that. But hopefully you guys can see pretty well. This thing conceals incredibly well. And this is a pretty big gun. It's a full-size grip, 19X. So full-size grip, you can't see, I'm not printing whatsoever. If I print a tiny bit, unless you know what you're looking for, you're not gonna notice it. So you can't see this thing whatsoever when it's in here. And it's incredibly fast on the draw. So I am running consistently, second and a half, 1.7 draw at first shot out of this holster. And so that's the best part about it, is you can quickly access your firearm, and it's also secure. So the reason I went to an appendix holster to begin with was because I was at the grocery store wearing my gun on my hip back here at the 4 o'clock. And every time I'd go to grab a piece of produce, I'd be worried about printing and then somebody grabbing my gun. So again, it's super secure right here. If anyone wants to get this, they're gonna have to go through these hands first, and I can fend them off and single-handed draw my pistol if I needed to. And let's just unload this thing because we're talking about it. I keep this thing loaded in the holster at all times because the holster has good retention. So even when it's off my body, sitting on my nightstand, for instance, it stays one in the chamber unless I pull it out and empty the gun. So that's just something that I like to do. I know that if my gun is in the holster, it has a round in the chamber, and everybody in my household knows that. So just my 2 cents on how to run your family, I guess. But if you have kids, it's a little bit different, right? It's a little bit different. If you have kids, you should be securing your firearms. So we're not going to talk about that today because it isn't about that. But Tier 1 MSP, I am running the backup magazine caddy on this thing. And so that gives me the ability to quickly and easily access a backup magazine. This one happens to have a red anodizing. Don't judge me. I used to like little red parts, not entire rifles with red parts, but I used to like little accents of red. This is a Shield Arms magazine extension. It's a +5. So we have 17 +5. So we have a 22 round mag here. And I am running Federal HST hollow points in here, 9mm. So if anybody knows about defensive ammunition, you need a hollow point. Reasons being, I know I'm going to have some guy in the comments be like, I have my first 2 rounds or FMJ, then the 3rd round's a hollow point because I might have to shoot through a door and do his Mozambique, 2 to the chest, through the door, and then 1 through the head, through the glass. It's like, bro, I got hollow points are going to go through a door too, right? They might not perform as well as an FMJ, but like I'm preparing for a self-defense scenario, 99% of which happened at 3 foot of distance and under 3 seconds. And so I'm going to run a hollow point because I don't want my bullets just flying right through somebody and injuring somebody else. Like if my bullets are on target, they should stop in the target or on the ground slightly thereafter. So that's what I run. I run those. And yeah, this is really cool because it has this little bungee cord in between that allows this to kind of have that flexibility, kind of bends and moves with you. There's also an adjustable retention on the magazine caddy, so it's a good retention the way I like it. It also has this little wing right here on the right hand side that pushes this back into your body when you're wearing it on your waistband. So really awesome holster. I do have one of their like little foam pads here that I kind of ripped and took off, and then now over time it's just kind of worn itself into like the way I really like it. But the cool thing about this is it's open-ended. So like I have the comp on the 19X, and it's, you know, it fits there very nicely. So that's enough about the holster. I think I covered everything. So this will fit anything that will fit this light. I mean, literally anything. A 1911, a 2011. This fit the Springfield Prodigy DS, the shorty, and it'll fit the long one because again, it's open-ended. This fits the Glock 17. This fits the Glock 19. The 19X with a comp. It fits literally. It'll fit a SIG. It'll fit a CZ. It'll fit. I mean, you name it. It'll fit in here. If it has a light that'll mount this, besides a wheel gun, it should fit in here. So I love this holster. Now, it is a little bit big, so you pay for that in the pants, as I say, especially when you're carrying appendix. So you might as well carry a bigger gun because why not? You're already paying for it. You're already, this real estate is taken up. It's not soft. It's hard. So again, might as well put a bigger gun in it that's easier to control the recoil. Like, why wouldn't I run my 19X with a comp? This thing is freaking awesome. It's super light recoiling with this PMM comp on here, and which we'll start talking about that. So that's the last thing I'll say about the holster. I love that holster. I literally wear it every single day, everywhere I go. So let's talk about the actual firearm itself now. So we have a 19X that was cut by Maple Leaf Firearms right here. So you can see the slide. This is their Valkyrie cut. So it's actually got, let me zoom the camera in right here without trying to shake it too much. So it's actually got these really cool like diamond-like serrations up in the front. I mean, it's a phenomenal looking slide cut here. I do have a cheap Zafari Precision barrel on there, but it's what I had laying around. I got the job done, and it's never failed me. So people talk crap about cheaper products. Zafari Precision does not sponsor the channel, but it's never failed me, and I've had good accuracy as far as a pistol's concerned, you know, since day one. So, but let's talk about the setup. So we have the Maple Leaf Firearms cut slides. This is an OEM Glock 19X. I sent it to Maple Leaf Firearms. They cut the slide. I believe this is a Coyote Troy tan that they put on it to match the 19X grip or to recreate that tanadizing. It's not exactly the same as the tanadizing, obviously, but it's pretty darn close. And then we're running the Trijicon RMR and Coyote up on top. It's a Type 2 RMR, really great. I mean, really great, really durable. There's tons of videos and, you know, testimonials about the RMR, so we're not going to beat a dead horse about that. I do run my rear iron sights forward, and that is because, again, I did a YouTube short about this and people were going absolutely fucking nuts about it. So when you're looking down, I'm not going to be able to get the gun to focus like this, or the camera rather. When you're looking down at the red dot here, what you do when you put the rear sight in the front, it's a trick to help your mind not focus on the rear sight. So your brain, your eyes, when you're presenting your gun, what's going to happen is your brain is going to start looking for things. And the first thing it's going to notice is the first thing that's in the back here. It's going to be your rear iron sight. Now, obviously, that's a skill issue. You could train that out. But this is just removing one more factor of needing to train something, you know, so to speak, train something out of your bad habits. So guys will argue all the time, that's a shorter sight radius, bro. It's like, okay, are you telling me that these sights aren't going to work at self-defense distances? Like, it's still a pretty long sight radius compared to most other guns. I mean, it's still pretty darn long. I mean, that's at least, you know, 5 inches right there, at least. So it's not like you're putting them, you know, right in front of each other, which even then it would still work. But again, it's a funny thing with the internet is because people get so worked up about all this dumb little shit. So that's still going to be working, and that's my preference. So if you don't like that, then don't do it on your gun, okay? They're simple enough. Up from there, I do have, speaking about the sights, I have some Ameriglow. These are the 511G, I believe. Glock suppressor height sights. It's got a blacked out rear and a tritium front sight. So tritium and orange outline in the front, and then a blacked out rear iron sight. I already mentioned the Zafari Precision barrel, and then we're running the Parker Mountain Machine comp on here, PMM comp. This comp is phenomenal. I love the way this thing performs. It was not the easiest to install and line up, but I got it lined up perfectly. I'm a perfectionist, so I finally got it to be lined up the way I wanted it. The one thing I will say is don't let it catch you in between here and the slide. It will bite the shit out of you. I did a cool guy press check one time, and I got my fat of my hand stuck in there, and it absolutely demolished it. It's pretty sharp, but it actually has this little bottom piece right here that sits inside the frame, so even if it's coming loose, it should not actually unthread itself. That kind of retains it in there. But as far as recoil reduction, it's incredible, the difference. You shoot a regular Glock 19X back to back with this one, and you 100% absolutely notice a difference in the recoil control. It's insane. It's got to be half the recoil at least. And then we have the TLR 1 HL from Streamlight. This is what it all holds onto in the holster. If I do a double tap up, it does the strobe. If I do hold it up, it's constant. If I push it down, I could let go of it. So this is not a new light. This light's been out forever. And in fact, it's one of the most budget-friendly, reliable, everyday carry lights on the market. I really love this thing. So I have a stock Glock trigger in here that I've polished myself just with my Dremel. And that's about it. I have an American flag, sorry, not an American flag, an American flag base plate. Some of you might call that an American flag base plate. But and then a SLR Rifle Works, let's see if I can get it to focus, SLR Rifle Works magwell on here for the 19X. So that magwell is great. It's not too big, so it doesn't like make me print more or anything like that necessarily. So let's zoom back out. So that's the main squeeze right there, guys. I love this gun. It's super fun to shoot, super easy to get follow-up shots. With that comp on there, it makes it feel more like a 2011 where I can really stay on target with this thing. And yeah, everything about it's great. The only thing I might upgrade in the future is like an extended slide release here, because sometimes with my grip, sometimes I do engage that slide release on accident and hold it down or push it up. And so I might get one of those that go up and over. I forget what those are called. Maybe someone let me know down in the comments what those are called. All right, this might be a good time to pause and just say, if you guys want to support the channel, first of all, thank you for being here and watching. That is supporting the channel. While you're here, please check and make sure you're subscribed, liking, commenting, even if you just write algorithm or whatever you want to write something funny down there. It does help the algorithm push these videos out to more people and spread the message of love and protection and freedom. So that is a huge help. Thank you guys for doing that. A direct way to support the channel is to super thanks. It's like Patreon right here on YouTube. So when you do a super thanks, that money gets directly put into my YouTube account, which is awesome. So thank you guys for all the super thanks you guys put out there. And then lastly, Brownells for bro code RDB10. Brownells is the biggest sponsor of the channel. When you use bro code RDB10, it saves you 10% off $150 or more. Some exclusions may apply on certain products, but if you have your cart full of $150, whether it's magazines or a Daniel Defense upper or a Prodigy or whatever it might be, you can save 10% and also support the channel. And yeah, gives us a little kickback. So thank you guys for doing that. And then I lied. So this is lastly, rangedaybro.com for any merch. I had some guys, the last shirt I was wearing, the Range Day Hose line of shirts, got a lot of good attention. So if you guys are interested in any of the Range Day Hose products, they're over at rangedaybro.com along with our gun charms and whatever else you might want. So if the merch doesn't start moving soon, guys, I may take down the website because it's costing me a lot of money just to have it up. I may need to partner with somebody like some of the other YouTubers do in order to make those shirts, but I'm not going to sit here and talk about the back end. This isn't what this video is about. So let's get back to the EDC. So that's my main squeeze. Before I get to my backup pistol and that setup, which hint hint is the Glock 43X MOS, I'm going to talk about my knives because I'm not a big knife guy, but I do carry a knife with me every single day. Now, not pictured, I think it's actually back here in my plate carrier. Let's see here. Yes. So I'll bust this guy out because sometimes I do carry this as well. This is my Leatherman. I don't know what model it is or what make, but it's a pretty cool Leatherman. I'll come up to the camera so you guys can see it. It has a knife. It has a saw on it. It has like this thing for creating sparks, creating a campfire. It opens up. It obviously has the pliers there, the wire cutters, and then it has a Phillips head, a flat head, a reversible utility guy there where you can flip this around. This actually comes out, and you can use it a Phillips head or a flat head there, which is pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool just to have in your pocket constantly. And they all lock into place. I believe that's a can opener, a little sharper, whatever. You guys probably know. I don't ever use these tools, as you can tell by how dusty they are. Sometimes I use the Phillips head. And the pliers, obviously, I've used. The knife I use all the time. Never started a fire with it, but it's a really cool piece of kit. It's not much bigger than a big knife. And I will often carry this in my pocket. And so I have a lot more utility out of something like this than just carrying a knife. And the knife on it is incredibly sharp. It also has that badass topographic pattern, which I really love. And it's like a little lock, I'm not going to be doing heavy like cutting with this, but it's cool to have all the capabilities that it comes with. Now, the knife I carry the most is kind of my beater knife. It's the CRKT Tuna, and it's because it's like shaped like a tuna blade. And so it looks like a tuna blade, as you guys can tell. And my buddy over at the gun shop had some fun laser engraving this thing. I don't know if you guys could see what I'm seeing, but if you can, comment what it is in the comment section. He took my knife and laser engraved something fun on it. That's a 1-to-1 scale of his very own. But this is a good knife because it's not that expensive. It's like $50, and it's a frame lock. It's a very well built knife, but I don't mind beating it up. I don't mind, actually using it for what it's designed for. The problem is with nice knives is that I feel like I don't want to break them. Like I have 2 other knives here, which we'll talk about in a second, but I rarely carry them unless I'm like dressing up, like going to church, or like I have like dress knives. I don't know if any of you guys have dress knives out there, but this is my everyday carry knife because it's a beater. I mean, you could tell the centering on this thing is like way off. It's not the best knife as far as everything goes, but you can flick it open. As I say that, you can flick it open pretty good. It's not going to be the highest quality in every respect as far as the steel goes. It gets dull pretty quick, but I don't mind sharpening it myself. I'm not worried about messing up the grinding and all that stuff. And I'm not a big knife guy, guys. Like I said, I like knives, but I'm not like sharpening my knives every day by hand. So this is my everyday kind of beater knife. Now from there, I go to probably my second most carried knife, which is the Benchmade Bailout. This guy right here, it's a very nice knife as well. And the same gunsmith got a hold of this one too on this side. And it's a really nice knife for what it is. It's aluminum, so it's super lightweight. It's got the Tonto blade on it. It's got a much more strong steel. It's the M4 steel on it, and it's got this nice like little Cerakote coating on it on the blade. But it's got the glass breaker in the back, which I know some guys say that's a hot spot, but for what I'm doing, I'm not using it enough to like really make that a hot spot. I'm opening boxes mostly, so really expensive knife to just open boxes with, but it's a nice knife. It's really lightweight and it's really thin in the pocket, which is why I carry it the most. Besides the Tuna, because this is quite a bit wider than this guy is. So, and this is quite a bit lighter as well. It's a much nicer knife, but it's 4 times the cost. And then lastly, probably my favorite knife, although it is an absolute nuisance to carry, is the Spyderco Manix 2, because it is just so freaking wide. I'll just show you in comparison to the Benchmade how much wider the Manix 2 is, because it just takes up your entire pocket. Like you can't fit anything else in your pocket, even with my big ass pockets. I mean, but it is like one of my favorite blade shapes for actually, for a usable knife. The way it fits in the hand, the way it feels, it's just such a good knife. I really love it. But because of its size, I don't carry it as often as I really like to. But it's super smooth. They got the Spidey flick, so it's really fun to open it up. It's just a great knife. One of my favorites. This is my second one because my first one my car got broken into in Austin. Shout out to the homeless guy in Austin who stole my fucking knife. And I had like custom brass scales on it with my name laser engraved into it and everything. I mean, I had a badass, braided paracord little lanyard on it that I made with this awesome bead on it that I spent like $20 on this brass bead. I was big into the EDC for a second there back in like the early 2019, 2020. And so I was so pissed my truck got broken into. I forgot it in my truck and it got stolen. So this is my second one, but it is quite a bit lighter with just the regular G10 scales on it versus the brass scales that I had on it. But we spent enough time on knives. I'm not really into knives that much anymore. So we'll move on and we'll go to the second gun. And then, we'll talk about this bag then afterward, which is kind of the substitute if I'm not wanting to carry it on my waist, which is always better. I'll just stop and preface this with, it's always better to carry your gun on your person, because if it's in a bag, it's a lot harder to get to and it's not always on you, even though you might be carrying your bag with you through the mall and whatnot. But if you could help it, you want to carry your gun on your person because it's just easier to get to. It's more secure. So with that being said, this is the Glock 43X MOS, also sitting in a Tier 1 concealed holster. Okay, Tier 1 Concealed does not sponsor the channel. They do us no favors. But I probably sold a shitload of holsters for them because I just like them. Now again, just like with the AR-15 upgrades video, when I find something I like, I tend to stick with it. It's not that there's things wrong with other holster manufacturers, but Tier 1 Concealed has always worked for me. They always fit me. They're comfortable. They're quick. They're good quality. And so I just kind of keep buying the same thing. So this is their 43X MOS holster. It's got the Streamlight TLR7 sub on it. But this has the Ulti clips on it, or Ulti clips. I don't know how to pronounce these. But the cool thing about these is they don't go on a belt. They just like clamp over a piece of fabric. So you slide your jeans or your sweatpants or whatever underneath here, and then it clamps down onto that clothing, or like even like a drawstring in sweatpants. So if you are, if you're a gangster, you want to wear sweatpants and carry your Glock with you, the Ulti clips are the way to go. Everything else, it's got the same features and benefits as the other one. It's got this flexible piece in the middle. This one does have buttons instead of a bungee cord. So you can just unsnap this that quickly and snap it back on if you don't want to carry your extra magazine. So each one has its own clip. And so if you really wanted to, you could run this magazine in a different place as well. I just tend to keep them together. But this is what I carry when I'm going to eat a steak dinner and I know I'm going to be really full and the pants are going to be tight, because it's a lot thinner than the 19X. Or any traditional double stack magazine, but it carries the same amount of rounds as a regular Glock 19 thanks to the Shield Arms magazines. So this is what I carry because it is so much thinner. As far as if I stack these guns side by side, you can see how much thinner it is. So it's just a lot, and you could feel it. Especially when you're, like I said, if you're going to eat a 20-ounce steak, this thing starts to get really uncomfortable right on pushing on your gut. So I carry this. Whether when I'm wearing sweatpants or when I need the Ulti clips functionality, or when I know I'm going to be eating good. So let's talk more about the gun. So as I mentioned, I know this gun is loaded because it's in the holster. So let's unload it real quick for all you internet safety folks. Okay, we are clear. Empty. All right, so this is the 43X MOS. It's pretty much a roll-in special, but as the internet pointed out to me, it doesn't have a threaded barrel, so it can't be. Or a comp or whatever it is that makes it a true roll-in special. Who the fuck cares? But this is my version, so go ahead, eat it. This thing is unbelievably, this thing's the best. For a compact everyday carry gun, this is 100% what I recommend. I had a buddy just text me yesterday about this. Because with the Shield Arms magazines, you have the ability to reliably, at least from my experience, guys, don't freak out on me, okay? You have the ability to reliably have 15 rounds of ammunition in this gun that is literally smaller than my hand. You see, I got big hands now, so don't freak out and say I'm doing some voodoo, camera magic. I have big hands, but this gun is literally smaller than my hand. And so for 15 rounds of 9mm to be in that compact of a size, literally my finger's almost at the end of the gun. Like when I do a finger gun, it's almost the same size. So for this gun to have this capability is unbelievable. I've done a lot of testing, a lot of shooting with this gun, and had no reliability issues whatsoever that weren't user error. I had a buddy shooting this one time. He was limp wristing it, and we had a stovepipe. We had like 2 malfunctions out of 500 or 450 rounds, but you could see from the footage it was from his grip. And when I'm shooting it, I've never had a malfunction. So take it for what it's worth. Just one guy on the internet. This is sample size of 1. Okay, so don't go out there and say range day, bro. Anyways, the way I have this thing set up. It was an MOS from the factory, so I got the C&H Precision plate on here so I could put the Holosun. This is the 507K, so I have multiple reticle options on here. I still have the same Ameriglow backup iron sights with the blacked out rear and the tritium orange front. That's the same exact setup as the 19X, same exact irons. They're the 511G, I believe. And then besides that, I don't think I even polished the trigger on this thing. I think it's a stock trigger. These Gen 5 Glock triggers are pretty freaking amazing. And let's ghost that trigger together. I'm going to have to... Here we go. So you have this take up right here. You hit a wall, a tiny bit of creep, and a little squish, and then a break, okay? So Gen 5 Glock trigger. See the reset? There's the reset. A little bit of squish and a break. I'm going to be honest with you guys. People swear by SIG triggers. People swear by CZ triggers. CZ are actually pretty nice. SIGs, I'm like, man, I've never shot one like enough to really say I don't like it. But I just know that in dry fire, which I know isn't the same, I still prefer the Glock. The Glock triggers are great. And if you know your trigger, then you don't really need an upgraded trigger. So I really love the Glock triggers. This trigger's been nothing but good to me. I really love this trigger because it's predictable, it's the same thing, and it's reliable. These things are pointed at my family jewels all day, every single day, and I trust Glock. Some other companies, I've seen some things, heard some things, I don't really know. All right, so again, backup magazine caddy here with the Shield Arms extension. So it's a Shield Arms mag with a 5-round extension. So this is a 20-round backup, 15 in the main gun. So I'm rocking with 35 rounds of 9mm with a gun that's the size of the palm of my hand. So pretty freaking awesome carry setup. If you ask me, really enjoy this setup. So moving back from there, let's talk real quickly about belts. This video is probably dragging on already. I don't know how long it's been, but let's see. Got 5 minutes recording left. So I'm running the Blue Force Gear Minimalist or EDC. I don't really know what they call this belt, but it doesn't even have a buckle. It's just a plastic loop here. You loop it through and you Velcro it. This one is the inner belt. Happens to be the inner belt for my war belt back there. I do wear this sometimes as well when I'm going to the range. You know, I'll throw my regular EDC holster on this guy. But the one I'm using right now on my waist is the exact same thing. It's just the like non-inner lining version. So it's all just slick throughout. But it's the same exact belt. It's got this like plastic thing right here. You just loop it through. And as you guys can tell, I wear this every single day. You can see it's well worn in. It's held up incredibly well for being like $30, $35. And it's so lightweight. I really love this belt. This is my favorite EDC belt. I'll buy like 10 more of these before I buy anything else. I've had leather belts. I've had other companies. This is 100% my favorite. They don't sponsor the channel, guys. This is just what I buy. I spend my own money on this stuff. So that is it. Last thing I'll say, and these guys sure as hell don't sponsor the channel because I've asked them to send me products and they never have. So I guess this is a free shout out to them. Vertex bags. This is their like commuter 2.0 sling, whatever. I don't really know what it's called. But I do use this quite often when I'm going to the gym because it can fit my wallet, my keys, everything in the main compartment right here. And then in the back, it has this hidden pocket right here where you can have this big pull tab and you can just rip it open and access a hidden compartment in the back. Now, one thing I will say is I used to have my Glock 17 in here, and all I did was put some Velcro on some of the rough side of the Velcro on the back side of my Tier 1 concealed, and it's all Velcro in here. So I just stuck the holster using Velcro into the side of this bag, and I had a really good consistent ability to draw my gun out of the bag. So I haven't done that now because I've been carrying my 19X every single day. So I'll just toss this in here, but that's a problem because when I go to draw it, I have to consciously grab the holster because it has retention, so I don't pull the gun out with the holster if I ever needed to. So that's just something to note, but this is a bag I use pretty often. It's a sling, so it's really easy to get around and access your firearm, but if you have any kind of weight in here, like with a pistol, it's so annoying. It's not comfortable to carry for long periods of time, so I don't highly recommend it. Lastly, if I do carry a flashlight, which I used to carry a lot more than I do these days, it's going to be probably this guy right here, the Streamlight Micro Stream USB. So it's a USB rechargeable little light, pretty good. I don't know how many lumen it is. Excuse me. It seems like it's dead right now, so I should probably charge it up. And then I have a Smith & Wesson like glass breaker pen thing that I've taken this on flights before. Some airlines, like nowadays, they might not let you take it, so I don't know. Travel at your own risk with this. I wouldn't want to lose it. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't crazy expensive either. So that's it. Besides my keys, which I left downstairs, I am using I think it's a ZAK belt loop that actually like just clips on, clips off. I know a lot of cops use that. Found it years ago, and I've used it like every single day. So that's what I use for my keys. And that's the only thing that I missed. And sometimes I carry a full-size Scar 17 on me as well. I'm just kidding, but I know some guy out there is going to be like, dude, I carry my MP5K everywhere I go. It's like, sick, good for you, bro. The Glock 19X is what I carry everywhere I go. And then maybe I'll do another video on like a truck gun or like a truck rifle or something like that. Because oftentimes if I'm going anywhere, like when they announced that National Day of Terrorism, I was like, I did have my rifle in the truck, in my rifle bag. So it's not a bad idea to have it in there. I don't like when people leave firearms in their vehicles because I think it's asking for trouble. But anyways, guys, we're going to wrap this video up. Thank you so much for staying to the end of it. If you want to support the channel, the easiest way to do so is with a super thanks. But liking, commenting, subscribing is a big help. I know it doesn't seem like it's doing much because you're one person, similar to our voting system, but it does matter. It does help with the algorithm. So thank you so much for doing that. Brownells.com, RDB10 for 10% off over there. saves you money off $150 or more, and also supports the channel. And then lastly, rangedaybro.com for any merch or any gear like that. So thank you guys so much. I love you guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys carry every day, and I'll see you next time on the next video.